Alrighty, welcome back to the CCS Final Four Season 7. I'm back with Wolfie Too Hot as Wichita State, the Shockers, out of the American, take on Ball State from the MAC as they just now trying to join their conference mates Akron in a national championship game. It will be the first time ever a CCS national championship game would have two teams from the same conference competing in it.
Well, Nation, it already tells you what the stakes are here tonight. These two teams were really familiar with each other, but, I feel this is going to be that series. We didn't expect that last game to go the way it did. Florida, unfortunately, went down to Akron, who many felt the result was going to be that, but the outcome of how that result happened was, to many people's surprise. We said, is that the best series we saw those boys from Akron play? I think so. But right now, Ball State, Wichita State, you had a chance to see what that level looks like and say, all right, we know we got to play them right after this series. We know that this is where they're on a cool down. They're going to watch us play a little bit. We got to get the job done, though. We got to get the job done quick.
Well, Akron's now won 22 straight tournament games, now looking to make that 23 with one more win, and coming off of 19 minutes and 51 seconds of a shutout. I mean, you look at that defense. If you're Wichita State or Ball State, are you scared of what you just watched against a really good Florida team? That their offense historically is really, really good, and they just got put to a shutout by Akron?
Well, Jonathan's the boogeyman now. I feel he's in everybody's dream. Puts you to sleep and says, I am the nightmares. But, for Ball State and Wichita State, I feel here for, especially like you mentioned, Ball State, this is a team that's seen Akron before, though. A team that, yes, they lost to them, but one we're saying we want to go back and meet them. We think we know how they like to play, and we feel we're going to be the best matchup there. But, I see the Twitch chat. I see it's a little torn right now between who the winner of this is going to be. But, I'm expecting a good game. I think we predicted 7 last time, Nation. I'm just hoping this one at least gets to 5.
Yeah, I mean, Akron swept Ball State in the regular season 3-0, and then went to the conference tournament championship game, and that one went to game 6. 4-2 was the final. But, Ball State still has to get the Wichita State here first. And again, it's prediction time as the players should be here in the lobby shortly. And I'll let you go first before I make my selection here.
And, I feel Ball State, they're going to look to ball out right now. Wichita State is a team who I'm not too sure I've seen before. I've seen Ball State play before. I've seen this team. I believe we commentated a couple of their matches this season together, Nation. So, due to familiarity, Ball State, I'm going to look for you all to really spread your wings, fly high tonight, and see yourself not just get into the top 2, but get there decisively.
I'll take the Cardinals in 6. Over Wichita State. I'll join you in that. I'll say Ball State wins. But again, I'm expecting this one to be a lot closer than what we just watched with the Akron Florida sweep. But that's why you watch these games. That's why you watch CCS. I think a lot of these games are highly entertaining and they're so much fun to be a part of. And I think this will be a good series. I really do.
Well, I think all the fans at home, they're itching for a good series. They're saying, oh, man, Florida's offense versus the all-around team that Akron is. That's going to be that game. But Akron came in and said, wait up. Wait on for that next game. We're not looking to make things interesting for the fans. We want to make things safe for us as players and as a program, and they did that. But now, is the goal here as well, Nation, maybe go to 7 games, make Akron wait and get cold? Or do you want to just say, let's get 4, let's just jump right into it, and let's go while we feel hot?
Well, I think you try to win as fast as you can, and if you want to talk about program success, I mean, it's shout out to BK Sackett joining us here in chat, director at Ball State. He's done a hell of a job with the Cardinal program, and now he's got this B team roster in the Final Four CCS for the first time ever, and looking to go back to their first time national championship game appearance at CCS alongside conference mates Akron. And so we could get to see a third showdown of Akron and Ball State this season. Shall they advance?
Oh, shall they advance? And, even Twitch Chat says, hey, red roster on mainstream, black roster on CCS mainstream. This is that point where, we see how Akron's doing with that B team over there. The B, I'm put quotes. I think if they go anywhere else.
B team too.
Exactly. So, it's worth saying, how great are these two programs to have that much talent just waiting in the wings, just saying, yeah, we know who's next up, but our guys right now at the top of it, they're at the top of it for a reason, but woof, that program, top through the bottom, elite.
And it really is. And again, BK Sack has done a heck of a job. And alongside, the Akron program, Huntley and the crew over at Akron, they all do a great job there. And, Wichita State's got Knight in. They're elevating the Rocket League roster, so they're doing a great job as well. And Florida's a club, and they're doing a stellar job nationally, in the polls as well, with that program. So, all four of those programs very good. But the job that you look at across the country by Ball State and both Akron, I mean, their B teams are two of the best B teams in the country, and their two A teams are two of the best teams in the country as well. So, these B team players should go start on any other roster in the nation. I guarantee it.
Oh, 100%. And that's kind of where we see the talent level for Rocket League, especially in the collegiate scene. It's just gotten continue to get better every year. It already was good, but we're starting to see some big players. A lot of players that see themselves make major runs in RLCS now find themselves in the collegiate space now. And, we saw a couple of RLCS challengers there. But, Nation, looking at this game, you said it's 6. I will follow you there. I'm hoping 6 games, but does it matter really how long the series goes for Akron, or do you think if it goes 7, it goes 4, they're prepared no matter the length?
I think you have to be prepared. And you come into a Final Four, you have to expect to be sent the distance. You have to be expect to be played in a close series. So, obviously you've got to expect to go through some adversity, and Florida just wasn't ready for it, and Akron dominated. We saw that early on, but now in this series, it's a completely different ball game when you look at Wichita State and Ball State. I think this is probably on paper a closer game than what Akron, Florida probably would have looked like on paper, but you never know. That's why we play the games, and I'm excited to watch these two teams go to battle.
Especially a number 2 versus number 2 matchup, and for Wichita State to get to this far in this year, they're not just happy for being here. They want to be able to go over the hump. They want to be able to say, we know what we need to get done. And in game number 1, all the action gonna start here. Who makes it? Who plays Akron in the next round? We'll find out after this series.
Akron Gold await the winner. And the national championship game would be the first time in CCS history a national final that represents 2 teams from the same conference. Shall Ball State advance? Wichita State trying to go back, or trying to make it their first ever national final, and it'll be the second appearance for a school out of the American.
This is where these two teams, they know they have to get active early. I'm expecting a lot of fireworks in the first half of this game, but allow yourself to get the offense rolling. Put yourself onto the board and just get comfortable in the series. This is game 1 of a best of 7. You might be here for a while, so you want to be able to at least kick your feet up and say, hey, we need to find a way to play our game. Let's not get rattled. Let's rattle the cages of the opposition.
Game 1 underway here at 45 seconds in. We saw early 1.5 minute, oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Phoebes just peaked. 4:10 to go. What a shot. I was about to say these teams are feeling each other out. No one's scoring early, and then Phoebes hits that disgusting angle.
He said feeling out. Phoebes said, no, this is a gut blow right here. I'm just going out real quick. And Ball State, ball in hand, saying, time to ball out, boys. The Cardinals, wings out high early and off the kickoff. That one will put the second one on here for the boys in red.
Ball State lead 2-0, 4:07 to go. And the Cardinals, well, what a start. About as good of a start you can get here.
Exactly, and we had a feeling for the Cardinals this was going to be a good game for them. We both predicted this team to win on through, but for Wichita State, you got punched in the mouth early. How are you going to be able to recover? This is now where you're kind of telling yourself, hey, we can't flinch here. Now we're down 2 in the first 60. At least it's happening here in the first game instead of the 4th or 5th. But for Wichita State, it's how you react from here on in.
Again, I said it earlier pregame. You're going to battle through adversity. You're going to battle through deficits. And a series like this in a Final Four, and there's a third for Old Score. He has 2 now. 3:42 to go. The lead out to 3. But the Shockers have got to lock in. They cannot look like Florida. As Florida could not. Once it got bad, it never got better. And if that's going to be the same story here, then we're about to have a cage match with Akron and Ball State.
Well, it's where you're asking, when do you wake up? You're down 3 up, and for Wichita State, it's not the position they felt they were going to be in early. This team has been able to play some great Rocket League. The defense has held them in through many games, but Phoebes right now, 2's all over his score sheet. 2 assists, 2 saves, now 2 goals. Too many. Is it here for Ball State? Wichita going to let another one through.
3:33 to go, 4-0, and we talked about the Akron game. That was low scoring for the entire 20 minutes, but this is high scoring. But Wichita State now in a much bigger hole than Florida saw themselves in. Is Ball State trying to rattle in a 5th here? As Knight, the transfer from Maryville, trying to lead this program to a national championship. And game 1 obviously has not opened up the way they had hoped for.
That's a barn burner right now, and they're burning down the crops here for Ball State. And for Ball State, 4 quick goals. This is where, as Wichita, you're kind of just saying, hey, goldfish mentality. We can't allow ourselves to see what's going on and start to panic. No need to hit the red button. Let's find a way to get 1 goal, and we'll work the way through. As Moss says, Moss, here you go. That's gonna go for the first goal here with 3 on the board.
Mace finds the first one, 3 minutes remaining. As Wichita State do finally get one, so there's a shutout broken 2 minutes in, and no long attempt of a perfect game, but Ball State give up one, 4-1, 3 minutes remaining.
Well, and that's where you want to be at. You saw it go 4 unanswered, and you need to find a way to just put some momentum back on your end of the pitch here. And for Wichita State, you saw it. First goal in, check mark. Now, you got to find a way to cut it by half. Easier said than done as we start heading into halftime.
2:40 left to play. Thieves fires is no good, 10 high. As again, the Shockers get 1. We'll see if they can bring it on to 2 unanswered. Here's Ball State looking for goal 5. It's going to be kept out by Boone. And Wichita State hang on, down by 3.
Well, Thieves has been playing phenomenal. You see him with the ball right now, has done a good job of just opening things up. But Wichita State, low boost right now for your name. Can you find a way to hit a teammate? Find a way to just give yourself some extra economy to try to put a big shot on? It just hasn't been the pressure so far. Ball State came out quick, and they're trying to get out of this game even quicker.
2:05 to go. 2-minute warning approaching here in game number 1. As again, the Cardinal offense opened with 4 unanswered. Will be just a minute 30 or so into regulation. So Wichita State's defense got put into a very bad situation early. They've since responded. The offense picked up 1 as well. And now things are leveling out a little bit. But then, minute 45 to go. I think at this point you look ahead to game 2 and try to not let what happened early on in game 1 happen in game 2.
Now the tough shot there, just going slightly wide, and I like the fight that we're coming back. This team settled in, and seems that they got their sea legs in a little bit. They look shaky, but they look composed. Another goal here before the end of regulation could be huge. Just taking it into game number 2. This team right here has done well of really retaliating after that first 60 seconds. It just seemed that they got hit quick.
Hit quick's a great way to put it. I mean, again, they got punched in the mouth early. But, they have settled in. They're doing a way better job now, obviously, with not allowing a goal for 2 minutes or so now. But, that 4-0 hole you found yourself in still going to be, the pivotal end of game 1 here. But, now you can wipe that slate clean in game 2. And, things could go better, hopefully, for them.
And this happens in a best-of-7 series. You don't mind getting kind of dominating game number 1 if it allows you to gain a lot of data. Be like, okay, we know what this team's coming out with. We see the speed that they're coming in with, and we're finding ways to really counteract that. Wichita State, it's how they reacted, and they adapted well towards the back half of this game. He's trying to close this out with potentially 1 more goal.
That one no good in the right corner. Old Tor and Yags there to it. It's Ball State, 30 seconds left, 4-1 to score. As the Cardinals trying to shut down game 1 of the win as Wichita State. Again, that 4-0 early hole spelled demise here in game 1.
Well, I would say the Shockers got shocked this game. This is where you got hit with a bit of electricity, and you kind of said we weren't looking for that, but now we got a spark in us. We know what we need to do for the rest of the way through. But Ball State, they flew high and they look good. Is this going to be the look we get from them all day long? Because if they do, it's going to be a handful here for Wichita State.
Game 2 coming up. Ball State again. Well, that early start, you got to feel pretty good about it. But Wichita State shut it down, and on to game 2 here. Hopefully the Shockers can get a response. They're looking forward. Shock the Cardinals here.
And for the Cardinals, it's kind of where you got to just tell yourself, hey, we got a good game 1, but job's not done. Yes, we dominated, but this is where Wichita State looked good towards the back end. We didn't see another goal, I believe, since after the 3-minute mark here for Ball State. So you got to be a bit concerned there if the offense may have been a little too predictable. You got 4 goals nonetheless, but can you find a way to just take 1 more in game number 2 to put yourself 2-0?
Game 2 underway. Ball State, Wichita State now again. A 2-0 hole could open. Shall Ball State win here? And again, if you're the Shockers, you don't want to trail 2-0. We said it earlier for Florida. Double game leads are brutal to have to come back from. This might makes it 1-0.
Well, welcome to the darkness. Turn the lights off. Night right now. First one to see it on. Wichita State, after giving up the first goal, take the first goal here in game 2.
Shockers, their first lead of the series. 5:15 into regulation. 15 seconds here in the game 2, though, and Ball State, we'll see how they respond playing from behind.
And now this is where we talk about that championship mentality. It's all right, you look good when you're up, but what do you do when you're down? What type of mental do you have when you have to come back from a deficit? It's manageable at the very least, but you start allowing things, allowing that time to go down. That one could look like a hurdle that'd be tough to overcome.
Minute almost off the clock here. Ball State, there's tie game. 1-1. 4:13, a pinch shot from Yags makes it 1-all.
And we were worrying for what reason? No worry here. All calculations. And, oh, man, just got some extra speed through to the pinch there off the defender. And, for Ball State, you saw yourself now put it back to a potential 0-0 here with 4:13.
4-11, new slate here, tie ball game. Thieves there to it first. Challenged away by Boone. 37 boosts to use for him. His Knight will reclaim possession for the Shockers, and Ball State find one more look at the top of the key. It's cleared away. Mace will take control for the Shocker offense now in transition as Wichita State looking for a 2-1 lead here down low. It's cleared away.
And Nation, who do you think needs this lead right now? Who do you think it would work to the best of, Wichita State or Ball State?
You got to look to the Shockers. It can't drop 2-0. It's got to be Wichita State that scores and takes control here. If it gets a 2-0 Ball State in this series, that's how demise starts to get spelled. So, in a series like this in the Final Four, a 2-0 hole, sure, you can come back from it, but momentum's a real factor, and it builds.
Well, the hard hat's on for all players on the pitch right now, and this is where they're saying, hey, we knew it was going to be a long day. We have to come in here getting ready for it. And they're playing so much better than they did in game number 1 here for Wichita State. I'm loving the way this defense have finally anchored down. They seem comfortable, especially against the speed that Ball State's coming with. But some of these passes, especially if you're going for a solo trip with no boost, you're going to put your team in a tough situation if you can't rotate back quick enough.
Halftime approaching here, about 30 seconds, still 1-1 at the halfway mark, and unless we see a goal in the next 20 seconds. But right now this has been a pretty good battle. Again, this is a much closer series than what we just watched, but that's because Akron's defense was probably the best defensive game they played all season. But
yeah,
now these offenses are going to battle. We're seeing two good teams go to war, and it's going to pay out for a good series, I think.
Well, if you have to peak on any day, you want to be able to start peaking on Championship Sunday, especially when you're trying to get a national championship. With a good save there by Yags, we'll just deter that one as potential 1v2 play, but a great job by the defense to take it away. Wichita State have an open net. Can they get it? Boone dots it through.
2:16, it's Boone on a second here. Is Boone going to find goal 2? 2 minutes, 16 seconds to go. And in game 2, now the Shockers back in the driver's seat.
All right. This is where we wanted to be. We said, Wichita State, you needed the lead here in game number 2 to not go down 2-0 potentially. But Ball State, they got a quick goal last time they went down. Will they be able to do it again? A lot of bumps at the net. Almost a teammate save there. As unfortunately for Ball State, as closer you can get, but won't be able to produce.
1:56 left to go. Old Tour back to center. Speeds across the neutral zone, and Ball State again trying to now find a way back into the series, back into game 2 here. Again, the Shockers can equal us at 1, and how quickly tides can turn at 1-1 will be compared to a 2-0 that's completely different than 1-1 after 10 minutes.
Oh, because now we go to a best of 5 initially instead of us just looking down the barrel. But a small lofter should be able to get cut out there by Boone, as Ball State right now. No boost to the name there for Phoebes. Needs to try to get out of there. Will not be able to get much, as Wichita State trying to rotate themselves right back onto the Ball State half.
Minute 15 left to go. Old Tour around 1, around a second. Phoebes alone, or Faces alone. He'll find one touch as he'll take his time waiting to bait in the defender. Here is Phoebes, and Yags going to roll one, broken up by Yags. As Old Tour and Ball State, 1 minute drill.
Oh man, you see it. They're willing to break protocol for this game. You don't see that too often, but will the Rocket League gods like that? We'll find out with the final 60. Yags on losing it there. Wichita State have a chance to try to find another goal on net, but won't be able to see too much as this one just lofting into the corner for Ball State.
36 seconds, Old Tour. Flip reset around 1. Mace is there to clear the corner. 30 seconds to go in regulation. Game 2 still again in control for the Shockers, but Time is still in the clock. It's a one-score game. You can't count out Ball State.
Well, this is where you can pump your brakes right here if you are a Ball State fan of the potential sweep top we were talking about. Now all that gets cut away. If you're Wichita State, this was a game for yourself. You needed to come right back and showcase that you belong in this series, not that you just got here. And they did a great job. First up, taking the lead, coming right back after Ball State worked quickly, and now putting this to a 1-1 series.
They got a best of 5 coming up after the stretch here. And we get a 1-1 opening 10 minutes. Probably what the viewers want. You don't want to sweep. So you want it to be close. Unless you're a Ball State or Wichita State fan, you want this to be close. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Oh yeah, BK Stacks right now. He's saying, "What happened? We need. I don't want this to be close. I want this just to be ours." But Ball State, you got tested there. Now, how do you come back? If Wichita State, if they find a way to get 2 games in a row, now all the momentum gets put back onto their side. Welcome to Game 3, a swing game currently here for the CCS semifinals.
It's Game 3, the first swing game of probably 2 or 3, maybe if we get to 7. As Wichita State and Ball State all equal at 1. Now a 2-1 lead in the line for the winner. As Ball State again now trying to get back to where they started, make it 1-0.
Yeah, that's just coming in and doing exactly what you did in game number 1. Offense, offense, offense. With offense comes pressure. And with pressure comes demolish of the defense. And the demolition right now off the first goal. Great job. You found yourself finding ways to get the offense going. But can the Cardinals keep it up? The kickoff goal, almost like game number 1, saw itself coming right back to back.
30 seconds into regulation. Wichita State still trailing as Ball State, again, it found that early goal here in the opening 20 seconds of regulation. But again, the Shocker offense, we saw 2 goals come through in the latter half of game 2. And now, Game brings a chance to prove you've got, an opportunity to take a lead here.
And a great beat there. Iolter just tried to get that one past it, but unfortunately no third man able to continue it on. All that did was just give Wichita State the ball back on their half and take off some pressure for yourself. But to our Ball State, they need to find a way to stack up goals here. This one will not hold for too much longer.
3:58 to go. Ball State wanting 2. It's going to be no good. Trail to the wide left corner. The Shocker defense still under siege for a minute here. As 1 minute and 15 seconds gone. Ball State a chance at the top of the key. It's Knight to cut that one off. And the Shocker defense has been really well adjusted since game 2 begun.
And I like what Ball State's been doing now. You're starting to see them start hitting some of their teammates in some open space. They're allowing that connection to start forming. Once that connection forms, phone calls get answered and goals start going through. We'll see if they can get it. It's Knight with a beautiful 50 there. We'll just put that into his corner, but a demo may open things up. Wichita State trying to get to it. Mace will be able to, but the boys in red will have to work their way back.
3:11 left to play. Round 1 is Yags back to center. It's Mace, fires, feeds to the corner. It's no good. 2 minutes down. The Cardinals still leading 1 after 2 minutes. We're nearing halftime. Wolfie, we're through 12 minutes. What are you seeing early that you like here out of both teams?
I like that the pressure for Ball State's finally coming through due to the passing plays. They're starting to do a great job of winning the contest at boost and trying to get themselves some open looks. And when that first man trying to disrupt that defense on the back line off the pass, but for Wichita State, they're just going off the reaction here. They're not trying to make goals. They're trying to counter goals. And Yak says the counter won't work. Give me 2.
And that is why you watch CCS. These are the greatest players in the league. They're proving time and time again these big-time plays lead to big-time moments in big-time victories, and that shot could have just secured game 2 for Ball State.
This is where great players want to be. They want the lights. They understand pressure makes diamonds, and they want to be the finest jewel of CCS. But Wichita State looking for that first goal. Will they see it? Chaos at the goal there. Won't have a chance. 2 saves coming in for Ball State. Not letting this one coming through in the second half of action. 2 goals separate them. Will it turn to 3? Ball State trying to make it. The defense wards it off.
2-minute warning. In game number 3 here as the teams again tied at 1. Wichita State trying to get within 1 here in game 3, but when we talk about these swing games, Wolfie, they shift momentum a lot in a big way, and I think, Ball State hang on here. Can the momentum hang on for Ball State, or can the Shockers get us right back to 2-all?
Well, I believe in Wichita State. I know we predicted Ball State was going to take it, but the way they played back in game 2 gave me a lot of promise of what this team is made out of. But you're starting to see the connection, like we're talking about, a little 1-2 there. They're trying to not be complacent on not utilizing their teammates. They want to make sure that's part of this offense, part of the game plan. And I love the fact that they're being adamant about it.
Minute 25 to go. Open target. Feeds brick to the post. Wide left. No good. And Ball State a near opportunity for 3-0. Now Old Tour going over 1. Has some help down low. There's the third.
No, Phoebes says, feed me. I need some goals. And, you know, this is where you saw him just take control in game number 1. Comes out, finds the first goal since game number 1 for themselves. But a 3-0 deficit now for Wichita State. The Shockers. Is this too much for them to overcome? It's starting to look like it. With 1:13 remaining, they need a quick goal in the first 10 seconds here.
Thieves off the backboard into the corner. Ball State will take it around 1. It's 3 minutes, or 3-0 to score. 1 minute to go here in regulation. And Wolfie, Ball State made the adjustments. They got the response they needed in game 3. We'll see if things can continue to go their way in game 4, or else, you know, game 4 feels like a must-win for the Shockers.
Well, and it's going to be, you know, for the Shockers to go down 3-1. It would be almost like you're trying to give the keys to Ball State so they can control and be in the driver's seat for the rest of this series through. But, you know, this is where Ball State, don't get complacent. Yeah, you're up by 3, but job's not done. Cardinals right now trying to see if they get one more for the road in the final 30. Drop it down, but the defense puts it up. Still not out of a dangerous territory, but it will just go right back here to the boys in red.
20 seconds left to go. Ball State leading 3. Wichita State at this point, you know, can they get one for the road and get on to game 4 with 1, you know, in their back pocket? But this Ball State offense opened up well in game 3. The defense put out a shutout effort. And now you look ahead to game 4 where things could really start to go your way.
Yeah, and this is it. If you're Ball State, you know that this game right here puts you in a position as Jags gets one for the road. Grabs a hat trick. Hats off here to the young man in game number 3 as they get a 2-1 lead in the semifinals.
4-0 the final score. Going on to game 4. Ball State leading 2-1 after 15 minutes. And now Wichita State another opportunity to send us to a swing game.
Well, that's just telling me that this team is feeling good. They're feeling well, and you know their game plan right now has just been send the attack at them. Wichita State, they shocked Ball State in that second game, but when you come out have one player in the name of Phoebes have 8 shots on net, things are gonna go bad for a team on the defensive side of it. But Wichita State, you won the game after losing one. Will the narrative stay the same here, or will Ball State find their first 2 wins in a row here in this series?
Ball State now 2-1. They've won games 1 and 3. Wichita State obviously winning game 2. So not quite 2 in a row, Wolfie, but no, they've got a chance to win 2 in a row here in game 4 if they can find a way to win. But the Shockers now look for yet another appearance of a swing game in game 5.
And big bump. Altor with the team with ulterior motives in the front. Getting their hands dirty. The Cardinals will not be de-winged. They are spreading them, and they're scoring first.
4:43 to go, 17 seconds in. It's another early start for the Cardinals, and now the Shockers in a row to hurt early on, and you know they got to relieve stop the bleeding. Because Ball State's a team that can run away with it.
You gotta just say, hey, we gotta just put a flame to it. We gotta find a way to just really take Ball State out of their element. Ever since that loss, it seemed that they put that game into the memory bank and said, we understand you now, and we understand how to take this series our way.
1 minute nearly gone here in regulation. 1-0. Still the score. The Shocker offense, again, shut out since game 2. Well, it's been quite some time since they've scored. And now they got to find a way. They're like Florida. Well, they got to find a way to get the offense rolling again.
Well, and that's where it just takes just a small push. You know, when you push a rock down a hill, it might take some time, but this is where it will start having some momentum. But you know, last thing for Wichita State is just to put your head in the gutter. You understand that this is where one of those series that it's going to take a lot to win it. It's not easy to make it to a national championship game. You have to go through great teams, and this is one of them in front of you. But what storyline it would bring if you find a way to bring it back?
Ball State trying to make history with Akron. As again be the first ever national title game with 2 teams from the same conference competing in it. As 3.5 remains on the clock in game 4. Ball State, they can hang on here, will have a chance to send a series away on ice in Game 5.
And Nation, if that becomes true, do we now be able to say we know the hardest conference in Rocket League?
Well, again, the Big 12 and the SEC are top heavy and the toughest to win. But I mean, Akron and Ball State are two of the best teams in the country. That conference is really good, top to bottom. But again, at the very, very top of the conferences in the country, yes, it is by far the best.
We'll see how these two teams want to get there. Wichita State's still trying to hang on, but will this one go slightly off? What could have been the second goal, thankfully does not, and a pinch will get saved.
2:45 to go. And as the Shockers still trailing one, their first goal has only come from Game 2. An opportunity here, there's one. Mates finds it 1-1.
Well, look at that. Never putting their head down and just saying we are locked in and loaded with two in his face. Beautiful job, and I loved it. Pulled back there, understood the momentum going too much. Allow for the defender to overcommit and get yourself a goal here near halftime.
.230 open target. Phoebes 2-1. Quick response.
All right, well, this has happened, and unfortunate for Wichita State, not how you wanted to, and a quick goal coming right after you score. It's where they're at least hoping to be in that equalizer just a little bit longer. Now they're right back to a deficit.
You can't have that. Wichita State here, you get your offense back on the board for the first time since Game 2. You find yourself in a tie ball game and it's quickly traded back out. Can't have those situations here in the Final Four.
Well, can't have it, won't have it, but Ball State have this game, this team in the driver's seat already, but now going to be in the captain's chair and says, hey, we just need to see ourselves take this one game at a time. I love the progress there, and it never felt that they were trying to overemphasize the issue. They played their game, they're playing their pace, and Phoebes right now looking like an all-star player back in this one.
As Phoebes finds a third, 2:04 to go, and you know what, Whoopi, again, no matter the score, all six of these players are guaranteed to get paid at the end of the day here as they're in the prize pool placing in the top 4. They make money no matter what.
Yeah, and that's part of the nation. How mad can you be when you have some change in your pocket? But I know they want to be able to say we're the best. We're the best in this nation. We're the best in CCS, and we want to show it right here. But Wichita State, it's here and now. All the eyes are on you. Will you be able to say, do you believe in miracles? Because we do. As Ball State trying to say, nope, all skill here as the pressure is still going on for the boys in red.
You get $50 for making top 4 no matter what. You walk away $50. That's a free meal. That's a free meal after you split it up 3 ways. About $17.50. It's a free meal for just placing top 4 in some CCS action. It's that one no good, but if you get to the national final game, you get $100. So it's a big difference.
Hey man, take yourself out to maybe to Whataburger. If you go into the national, go to a little Olive Garden action. Who knows where you'll find yourself? But the meal of champions is what they're trying to eat tonight with 1:12 remaining. Ball State trying to get themselves one step closer on that waiting list to play Akron in the finals.
It's 1 minute remaining in game number 4. Ball State leading 2. As now the Shockers will be again. When does reality start to set in that things have got to change if you're the Shockers here?
Now it's where you're saying, hey, I don't know if you had a VR headset now, but take that thing off because this is where you're living, and it's where you're down in a series 3-1. Is there still a chance? Yes. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. Any things that are hard, well, nation, guess what? They're hard to do, and it's hard to be able to make the top 4, but it's even harder to make a top 2, and especially when you're down by 2 games. 30 seconds remaining. Ball State trying to almost get there into the national championship game. Wichita State trying to make it interesting, but this is it. We said it. Ball State. The prediction was, can you get to 2 wins in a row? No one's been able to do it this series yet, as Wichita State trying to get 1 more for the road, but it won't happen.
I mean, yeah, in this tournament's hard to win, man. It's single elimination. It is literally do or die. You got to be on your game, or else your season's done in one series. I mean, you get this far, but then you come up short because of one bad day. And again, it's single elim. It's win or go home, bro.
And that's the hard part. You don't even get a chance of saying, all right, it's double elim. We might go down to lowers, and we might play again. No, it's can you be able to contain yourself? We see this in almost every major sport where it's do or die time. You don't get a chance. You only get this one right in front of you. And what do you do with it when you have it? But for Wichita State, Will the series extend, or will this be their last game of the season? Ball State, one game away from meeting a familiar foe in the top final two.
Game 5 shall end here. The broadcast will go to a 15-minute break, prepping for the national finals. Akron Gold again get the winner. It's game number 5. It's now do or die, respectively. Wichita State facing elimination the rest of the way.
And for Wichita State, this is kind of where you're saying, boy, there's no tomorrow. There is no next game. It's this game. It's this next goal. We need to find a way to win every goal. And if it goes from, instead of the series, hey man, like we mentioned it, make into small goals. Let's get the first goal. Boom. Let's win the kickoff. Boom. Let's see ourselves get a 2-goal lead. And now you're playing with your own mess, your own fire, and you're trying to see if you can burn the opposition. But Ball State, their teamwork has been immense. It has been amazing as a 1-2-3 play gets cut away.
1 minute down here in regulation. Down low, an opportunity gone by the wayside of his Knight on the shot attempt. 1 minute down, and now the Shocker offense resets for attempt 2. It's broken up by Yags, and Ball State with possession back again. They'll cross the neutral zone as the Cardinal offense sets up shot.
And you see how patient they are, and that's where a lot of teams will try to speed things up. They slowed it down. They say, let's go for some long passes, let that ball kind of loft up a little bit and take some time away. Time of possession, so crucial here, and they're showing that element of it, and they're playing all phases of the game right now of Rocket League to perfection, as Ultra won't be able to get much of a touch. Just lofts that down for Mace, as Mace trying to solo this one, can't get the second, but a teammate throws it down. Thieves denies.
And these MAC defenses will have put on a showcase today. Both Akron and Ball State, their defenses have been insanity to watch. And Wichita State feeling those same effects here. The offense coming up short of what should be surefire goals, but they're stunned by how good the defense has been.
Well, it's what you get. You know, in a goal you may get throughout league play is not one you'll get in the playoffs, especially in the Final Four. So it's where the creativity has to come through at an all-time high. And I love the fact they're starting to get aggressive. Allow the bumps, but don't put yourself in the same position. 2 teammates in the corner. Is that going to spell trouble? And it does.
2:49. And Ball State now just south of 3 minutes away from a first ever CCS National Championship game appearance with #1 Akron Gold.
And you know, for the team that scored first in this series, they've won the game. So for Ball State, in every game they scored first, they've taken that W. We'll see if that narrative happens once again here. But it's for Wichita State. You need to match them quick. Second goal. Boone dots it through back of the net. That's gonna go.
It's 2:42. There's one. So this game right back to level again. Only took 7 seconds to tie us back up, and that's a very big opportunity now for the Shockers to continue their success offensively.
For Ball State, you can't ask for it to come easy right now. No, Wichita State's a team with a lot of pride on their team, a lot of skill, and they're going to make sure you're sweating to the final whistle, the final minute, the final second. But can you be able to withstand that pressure? Ultra will have this one with full boost. Does get bumped off a bit, but will find a teammate. They make it look easy. They're making it through. Teamwork makes the dream work, and right now they're trying to make dreams a reality.
As 2:24 to go, it's Thieves on his second, and Ball State back in front. As again, these teams are good at trading out goals, and they've done just that. We've seen 3 goals in just the last 40 seconds.
Well, Nation, I think they're starting to get past good. They're at that elite level, and especially here in the CCS, these squads have been putting on a ferocious showing here in this game, and it's impressive the way Ball State has been able to produce at this level. Wichita State has just seen that the lights got a little bright for them so far, and they have not been able to overcome some of the aspects. We've seen little mistakes from little double commits, maybe some miscommunication, and they just got to clean that up, and they're not out of the woodworks. They're only 1 goal down with 2 minutes left.
Minute 50 left to play here in game number 5, and Ball State now just got to run this clock down. The Shockers have a minute 40 left of their season unless they can score.
And I'm looking for it. Let's see an OT. We haven't seen one today, and I would love for us to get some extra time here in a match where so much is relying on. But Ultra will take this himself. Will give it to Yags, needing one more pass. We'll just see a teammate here for Ball State continuing it on, but not too much to see there.
So 1:18 left to go. Game number 5 again awaits from a Ball State shutdown effort here, but now the Shockers with angel numbers on the clock need to find a way to score or else their season is unfortunately over. But still, a top 4 effort is not a bad season whatsoever.
You talk about the angel number, see if there's any angels in the outfield here, and let's try to see themselves get a goal and a quick shot. Will just get saved there by Yags. We're looking for some theatrics, and we see some cinema, but final 50 seconds is the curtain's about to close here on Wichita State, or will the Shockers continue it on? Oltor pops this one up. This one might have a chance. A big demo frees up the net, but not much to watch at Wichita State. Doing a great job bunkering down here late, but one more goal will put the nail in the coffin. And guess who? It's Phoebes.
30 seconds. Ball State can start to feel it. And now we might have some history broken up here in 30 seconds if Ball State can hang on, but still 30 seconds. That's enough time for 2, but it's not manageable. But there is time on the clock still. 4-2 more, but this first one has to be quick for the Shocker offense.
Well, Nation, remember back when we were at that RLCS World Championship in Dallas, those 3 goals, the final, was it 10, 20 seconds or whatever it was? So it's definitely possible at this level of Rocket League. Plausible? I don't know too much about that. But this is where Wichita State, you don't have any more time to dilly-dally. It's now or never. But this will see itself coming to a close. Final 5 seconds. Ball State in the midst of danger. Look it in the eye and says, it doesn't matter. We'll see ourselves punching our ticket to the national championship game.
Akron will take on Ball State, Wolfie. And then we got some history. First time ever, 2 teams from the same conference will compete for our national title in CCS. It's Ball State and Akron Gold. What a way to close the season.
Well, and it closes the season there. Wichita State, do not put your head down. You played a great series, and you had a great season. And it's bittersweet. Yes, you would love to have gone farther, but you were the top 4. You're one of the 4 best teams in the nation, in the CCS for that. And it's one where you have to look back, go look at how the season was, take a breather tonight, and just get ready for the next one.
Absolutely. We're going to go to break. When we come back, the national championship game presented by the Sideline Sports Network. I'm your host, Nation, joined by Wolfie. We'll be back. It's Akron Gold and Ball State after the break.